I want to share something with you that fundamentally changed how I think about my own health and how I practice medicine. For most of my career, I told my patients what every physician tells their patients: walk 30 minutes a day. It is good for the heart. It is good for the mind. It is accessible. It is safe. All of that is true. And I still believe in walking. But several years ago, a major analysis in one of the most respected medical journals in the world reported something that forced me to reconsider what I was prescribing. The research showed that older adults who prioritized brief, targeted resistance movements, exercises taking as little as 5 minutes, experienced significantly better outcomes than those who relied primarily on walking. Lower hospitalization rates, preserved independence for longer, better functional capacity in the activities of daily life. 5 minutes against 30. The reason comes down to muscle fiber biology. Walking is an endurance activity. It works the slow twitch fibers built for sustained, low-intensity effort. These fibers matter, but they are not the fibers that catch you when you stumble. They are not the fibers that drive you out of a chair. They are not the fibers that determine whether you can rise from the floor after a fall. Those functions belong to the fast twitch fibers, the type 2 muscle fibers that generate rapid, powerful force. These fibers are the first to atrophy with age, and walking, regardless of how far or how fast, does not provide the stimulus needed to maintain them. 5 minutes of targeted resistance does. Today, I am going to walk you through the 5 exercises that I have performed personally every morning for the past several years. The 5 that I prescribe most consistently to my patients, and the 5 that, in combination, address every major component of physical independence after 60. Let us begin. The first exercise looks like something you have seen before, but the way we perform it here makes it fundamentally different from any push-up you have ever done. Stand an arm's length from a clear wall, palms flat against it at shoulder height, slightly wider than your shoulders, body in one straight line from head to heels. Now lower yourself toward the wall over 2 full seconds, slow and controlled. And when you reach the closest point to the wall, hold. Stay there for 3 to 5 full seconds before pressing back. That pause is the entire point. Here is the physiology. When you hold a position under tension, what we call an isometric contraction, you force your proprioceptors to do something they almost never have to do in normal daily life. Proprioceptors are the specialized nerve receptors embedded in your joints, muscles, and connective tissue that continuously report your body's position to the brain. During an isometric hold, these receptors are firing at maximum capacity and sending a dense, rapid stream of positional data upward to the nervous system. This is neurological training. You are not just building chest and shoulder strength. You are training your nervous system to remain stable and to recruit muscle units rapidly under unexpected load. Why does this matter for your safety? Because when you stumble, when something unexpected shifts your balance, your ability to prevent a fall depends almost entirely on the speed of your arm's reaction to stabilize your weight. The trembling you may feel during the isometric hold is not weakness. It is your motor units being recruited in new patterns. That is the adaptation you are chasing. Lower slowly on the return. The lowering phase matters as much as the hold. Perform 5 to 8 repetitions with the 3 to 5 second hold at the bottom. Rest, breathe. The second exercise targets something that most people lose without ever realizing it until the day their walking changes. Sit upright in a firm chair with your back pressed firmly against the backrest for support. Feet flat on the floor. Now lift one leg, raising your thigh until it is as close to parallel with the floor as you can comfortably achieve. Hold for 2 full seconds. Lower with control. Switch sides. Simple to describe, extraordinarily important to do. Walking speed is one of the most powerful predictors of longevity available to geriatric medicine. Studies have shown it is more predictive of 10-year survival than blood pressure, cholesterol, or body mass index. And walking speed is determined primarily by the strength and function of the deep hip flexors, the iliopsoas muscle group that lifts the thigh during every step. Here is the problem. Normal walking uses a very short range of hip flexion. The deep hip flexors never work through their full range. Over years and decades, they become simultaneously tight and weak, shortened from prolonged sitting, weak from never being loaded through their complete range. The result is a shorter stride, a lower foot clearance, a gait that catches on rugs, on door thresholds, on the slightly raised edge of a pavement slab. The shuffle that most people associate with old age is not inevitable. It is the predictable consequence of hip flexors that have never been challenged. This seated lift isolates exactly the muscle that controls this, loading it through a full range, forcing each leg to work independently, correcting the side-to-side imbalances that accumulate over decades of unconsciously favoring one leg. 2-second hold at the top. Controlled lowering. 8 to 10 repetitions each side. The third exercise addresses what I consider the single most important functional movement for maintaining independence, the ability to rise from a seated position under your own power. Place a sturdy chair behind you. Stand in front of it, feet shoulder width apart. Now, this is the most important instruction I will give you for this movement. Initiate the descent by pushing your hips backward first, not by bending your knees forward. By sending your hips back, as if you were trying to close a door behind you with your backside. This hip hinge initiation shifts the mechanical demand away from the knee joint and into the posterior chain, the glutes and hamstrings, which are built to handle heavy loads. It is the difference between grinding your knee cartilage and working the muscles designed for this exact task. Lower yourself over 3 controlled seconds until you just barely touch the chair, not sit, touch, and immediately reverse direction. Drive back up through your heels without ever relaxing into the seat. This technique, what I call touch and go, maintains continuous muscle tension throughout the entire movement. The muscles never fully rest. And that continuous tension creates the specific neuromuscular stimulus needed to maintain the fast twitch fiber activity that makes standing up feel effortless rather than effortful. Begin with 5 repetitions. Focus entirely on the hip hinge pattern, on keeping the knees tracking over the toes, the chest lifted, and the weight in the heels. As this becomes comfortable and controlled, increase to 8, then 10. Every single time you practice this movement, you are reinforcing the neural pathway that makes rising from any chair, any toilet, any car seat, any low surface feel natural and strong. The 4th exercise trains what may be the most underappreciated physical capacity for older adults, the calf's role in both circulation and reactive balance. Stand near a wall or counter with fingertips available for support. Rise onto the balls of both feet as high as you can and hold for 3 full seconds, looking straight ahead, not down at your feet, straight ahead. Then lower over 3 full seconds. 2 separate physiological mechanisms are being trained here simultaneously. The first is circulatory. Your calf muscles are the body's secondary heart. Every time they contract, they squeeze the deep veins of the lower leg and push deoxygenated blood upward against gravity back toward the heart. When calf muscles weaken, which happens progressively with age and inactivity, this pump becomes inefficient. Blood pools in the lower legs. The ankles swell. The heavy, tired sensation that so many adults experience by late afternoon is a direct consequence of this failing pump. The sustained hold in this exercise maintains the muscular strength that keeps this system functional. The second mechanism is neurological. By looking straight ahead rather than down during the hold, you are deliberately removing your most relied upon balance reference, vision of the floor beneath you. This forces your vestibular system, the inner ear's balance mechanism, to work harder than it normally has to. It forces your ankle proprioceptors to send faster, more precise signals to compensate. The 3-second eccentric lowering phase builds tendon stiffness and strength, the quality that determines how quickly your calf can respond when your balance is suddenly challenged. A fast, strong calf response is the difference between catching yourself and falling, 8 to 15 repetitions, 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down, eyes forward throughout. The fifth exercise is the most neurologically complex movement on this list, and the one that produces the most comprehensive benefit in the least amount of time. Come onto your hands and knees. Hands directly beneath your shoulders. Knees directly beneath your hips. Spine in a neutral position. Now simultaneously extend your right arm forward and your left leg backward until both are fully extended and your body forms one straight diagonal line from fingertip to toe. Hold this position for 5 seconds. Return slowly and with control. Switch sides, left arm, and right leg. Perform 4 repetitions on each side. What is happening during this exercise is genuinely remarkable. The crossbody pattern, opposite arm and leg moving together, is the same diagonal rotation that your spine makes with every step you take during normal walking. Training this pattern specifically strengthens the deep spinal stabilizers, the multifidus muscles that run between individual vertebrae and the transverse abdominis that wraps around the lumbar spine in their functional context. The spine must remain completely rigid and neutral while the limbs move. This is the definition of true core stability. The bone-loading stimulus is meaningful. The tension created by extending the limbs applies a safe osteogenic force to the vertebrae and hip joints, signaling the bone-building cells to maintain mineral density. And the neurological demand is significant. Your brain must simultaneously manage balance, coordinate opposite limbs, maintain spinal stability, and process proprioceptive input from 4 contact points. Research has linked this type of complex coordinated motor challenge to neurogenesis, the formation of new brain tissue. You are maintaining and building the neural hardware that controls movement. 5 seconds per hold. Control the return. 4 repetitions each side. 5 exercises, 5 minutes. Here is the complete daily sequence. Wall push-up with isometric hold, 5 to 8 repetitions with a 3 to 5 second hold at the bottom. Upper body reaction training. Seated leg lift, 8 to 10 repetitions each side with a 2-second hold at the top. Hip flexor strength for walking and stride. Modified squat to chair, 5 to 10 touch and go repetitions. Functional independence training. Standing heel raise with balance hold, 8 to 15 repetitions with 3-second eccentric lowering. Circulation and balance rehabilitation. Bird dog hold, 4 repetitions each side with 5-second hold. Spinal stability and cognitive motor training. Perform this daily, or at minimum 4 times per week. The frequency is important. These are neurological skills as much as physical ones, and neurological skills require regular repetition to develop and maintain. Start with the most modified version of each exercise. Wall contact for push-ups. Light chair back for heel raises. Minimal height for leg lifts. The pattern matters far more than the intensity. As the pattern becomes reliable, the intensity can increase naturally. 5 exercises, 5 minutes. Wall push-up for the reaction speed that protects you when you stumble. Seated leg lift for the hip strength that keeps your stride confident and your feet clearing the ground. Modified squat for the functional power to rise from any surface independently. Heel raise for the circulatory health and ankle strength that keeps you stable. Bird dog for the spinal stability and neurological coordination that underlies every movement you make. I am 79 years old. I have done these 5 movements every morning for years. My body today is stronger, more stable, and more capable than it was a decade ago. Not because I found a secret, because I found the right signal, and I gave it to my body consistently. Your body is still capable of responding to the right signal. It does not matter how long it has been since you challenged it. The capacity for adaptation is still there. 5 minutes. Starting today.